Rolento's Shanghai Tips together with Luxense 万万的上海窍门携手 Luxense brings to you an interview with the BONZUN CEO Miss BonnieRoupe 带给你口袋孕育的 CEO BonnieRoupe 的访问。
My name is BonnieRoupe. I'm the founder and CEO of BONZUN, and I'm from Sweden. It's the environment that's different. The Chinese pregnant women don't get to spend so much time with their doctor. They don't get the same comfort. So they will get that comfort from home, from their parents or from their husband, which is good. However, the support that they get is not evidence-based. It's not from a doctor or from a nurse. So I think that's the biggest challenge in China, that there are too few doctors to serve the Chinese population. Normally, a Swedish woman gets to spend 1.5 hours every 2 weeks with a special pregnancy nurse. In Sweden, Swedish pregnant women don't see a doctor unless it's something abnormal. So we have a special type of nurse that has a 6-year education in pregnancy and to follow up pregnancy and do all the tests around what's normal. And as soon as something is not normal, then you get to talk to a doctor. So you have that professional support all through the pregnancies. When you have gone through a delivery, a childbirth or a C-section, and you're a new mom with your new baby, I think it's a good thing to rest and to be home and to take care of yourself. There are a few things around the confinement that is unhealthy, and there are a few things that has to do with old traditions, things that made sense a long time ago that is not updated. But I do think that the professionals who work with confinement have updated their practices. But there are, like for instance, you should not drink alcohol. There are some certain type of foods that they give during confinement that consists alcohol, and I would say that's not a good thing. If you don't take a bath or take care of your personal hygiene when you've gone through a delivery, you could put yourself in danger for infections. So there are a few things that need to be updated. But I do think that in some parts of the world where you stress the mom to go out immediately and to have a coffee or take the baby out to a restaurant, and you know, it's a big deal going through a delivery. And I think that it's not a bad thing to be home and rest. I think it's okay to spoil a child with love and affection, and there's no way you can spoil a child too much with love. However, a child still needs to get boundaries and learn right from wrong, and also understand that the universe doesn't circle around one person. Because if you protect a child like that, if you become like a helicopter parent hovering over your children, shooting down every hurdle in front of your child, you create an easy life for your kid, but you don't prepare the child for the real world. So when that children come out in the working place when they're in their 20s and they don't get their way and they're supposed to collaborate with colleagues, it's going to be a problem. There's so much misunderstandings about pregnancy, and there's so much inaccurate information. There's so much information that is wrong. And for the pregnant woman, she can't tell the difference. And that's a challenge for me. How could I communicate that the information that we provide in our app, that it's evidence-based, that it comes from reliable sources? Because there's so many other sources and there's so many other pregnancy apps and websites that has information that is old, not updated, or inaccurate, or just simply falsified and made up. And how can we let the women know the difference between the correct information and the information that is wrong? If they could play more, I think children should play. And what the Swedish way of bringing up kids is learning through playing, and also that it's okay to get some bruises a while and you become stronger. Red Tea was the name of the golf magazine that I founded in 2004, and it was a luxury and sports magazine for women. For me, it's a lot of fun because it had every part in it, both the part of building a company and also to create a magazine and build something from scratch. And we wrote about luxury products, luxury travel, luxury sports, and I got a chance to travel the world. And for me, growing up with nothing, when I was young I had one toy, and I grew up with a single mom. She had 3 kids, and we didn't have any money, but we had I had a really nice childhood. But I really thought for the first 25 years of my life that the key to happiness was things. So I really felt that I had achieved something when I started my magazine, and then I had everything. I was living in this large penthouse in Stockholm, and I had a nice handbag, a nice watch, a nice car, a nice husband, and everything was just so perfect. But still it felt empty. And then I sold my company, so I had freedom and money at the same time, which is kind of a dream. But I was so bored. I bought a race horse because I thought I need a hobby. I need to do something. And it didn't help. And then I got pregnant with my second child, and I had a complication. And I didn't realize that I was sick. I thought I was okay. And it turns out that I wasn't. And I don't know if you know this, but pregnancy is the #1 killer of women. And I was this close to being one of them. And with this wide use of smartphones now, there's no reason for women not to have information about their pregnancy. So I started BONZUN, and I went to China because I wanted to start in China because of, well, first it's a very big market, and also the education around pregnancy in China has for a lot of years been based on advice that is not evidence-based. So I think we could have a large impact in China. Well, I think for me, growing up having nothing, I didn't have any toys when I was a kid, just had one toy. And when I started my first company, I was pursuing all these material things. And with this company that I created now, I sold my first company to fund this company. And then eventually I ended up selling everything. I sold my house, I sold my car, I sold everything, except this. I keep this one. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that luxury or material things are bad. I really like that. I still like that whole lifestyle that I had. What I'm saying is that for me it doesn't come first anymore, because I've lived that life when I had everything. I went from nothing to everything, and then for some reason it still felt empty. I had to pursue my dream and create something that was meaningful for me. And for me now, that comes first. So I want to pursue this venture and do my meaningful business. And then eventually I know that I'm going to be able to buy a house again and a new car. And then I have a meaningful life. This is a Rolex, and it's the Oyster Perpetual Digest. This is the last resort. This is the last thing I sell. If I sell this, then everything is over. So I feel that I won't sell this, because for one thing, it increases in value every year, and it's something that I could pass on to my children. And for some reason, even though I sold everything, I just feel safe having this one watch.